Q&A. Gonna have a Corona and answer some questions. I didn't announce this at all, so I expect it'll be a few minutes before people start ringing in here and diving in with some questions. What have I been doing lately? Man, I've bought 2 cars lately that you're gonna end up seeing on the channel. They're gonna be surprises. One of them is coming up Thursday, and it's gonna be really, really good. Maybe the best car that I have ever uncovered. And so that's gonna be a lot of fun. I also bought a Jeep. I got a CJ2A with a small block Ford in it. And so, oh wait, here come the questions. Hey everybody, go ahead and ask me some questions. It's Easter right now. I just got dropped off by my family. We were on sort of a vacation over the past couple days, and now I'm dropped off to start a video that you will hear about starting tomorrow. And so I just thought I would sit here and have a Corona and answer some questions for you. You know what though? I'm officially turning on Corona. These things are more skanky than not lately. The ratio used to go the other way, and now they're just like all skanky. I have to admit, after years, I'm probably gonna have to turn on them. All right, what questions we got coming in? Couple people mentioning General Mayhem. Yeah, this is my new General Mayhem t-shirt. You can get it in my store right now. Let's see. Wow, they're going by so fast. I might need to go and slow them down or something. What's the new beer choice? You know what? I really like a Yingling, although you can't get them in my half of the country. So there's that. Wow, there's a lot of questions coming in super fast. Go Modelo Negro. Modelo Negro is not too bad. My location right now, I am in Southern California. Where's the muscle truck? The muscle truck has been mine for a long time, so I still have it. I know there's a ton of questions on who owns what vehicles. I have a video in edit right now that will answer your questions about every single car that was ever on Roadkill, at least every main car. I didn't cover all the little ones on the side, but I covered a lot of them. So look for that coming up. It'll answer all your questions. Am I coming to Woodward this year? I haven't been to Woodward Dream Cruise since the first one. I think I went to the first one and maybe one other, but that was the last time I was there. How's the new NHRA gig going? For those of you who are unaware, I'm doing a reporter job for NHRA on Fox, and that also involves announcing what they call in-venue, meaning to the crowd that's there. And that in-venue work also streams on NHRA.TV, which is a subscription service. You download the app off your favorite place, wherever you get apps, and you can see 100% of every race. And you can also play old races, including stuff all the way back into sometimes the 50s, but more like the 60s and definitely the 70s. And you also get like insider podcasts and other things like that. So you can see me on NHRA.TV, and you can also see me on NHRA.Fox. And what I do for Fox is technical bits from the pits, which is very much like what I used to do for Engine Masters. Lisa, thank you for the 10 bucks, very kind. And then I also do reporting at the top end, asking racers questions as they get out of their cars. And then I also do pit interviews. So that's what's going on there. I really like it because it's like a continuation of the heritage of my work at Hot Rod Magazine, because Wally Parks was the founder of the National Hot Rod Association from within the offices of Hot Rod Magazine in 1951. And so having been the editor of Hot Rod so long, I think it's pretty cool now working for NHRA. It's like the same heritage. Let's see. Derek, thanks very much for the tip. I appreciate you. What happened to the Crusher cars? Both the Crusher Impala and the Crusher Camaro are mine. Once again, hang on, not this Thursday, but a week from Thursday, I have a video that will tell you about the fate of every single Roadkill car. Do I still own the Dragoneer? Yes. Any opinions on the crushing of the cars at CTC Auto Ranch? I've had a ton of people email me about CTC Auto Ranch in Denton, Texas, where we did that early episode of Roadkill with the, was it 67 or 68 Barracuda Coupe? And yes, I know that they are crushing all the cars there, which is terribly sad. But at the same time, thank you, Ram Ranch. At the same time, all that stuff has been for sale forever and it hasn't been purchased. So a lot of gearheads will say things like, oh, it's criminal. That stuff should have been saved. Well, by who? I feel really callous saying that, but the truth is that stuff's been sitting there for decades and no one's bought it. Now, I, like you, wow, lots of tips coming in. I appreciate you a lot. I'm sorry I missed your name. Like you, Jeremiah got one for $1. Mike Connolly for $1.99. Thank you. Like you, I wish the stuff would sit there forever so that I can look at it and so that I can take pictures of it and video of it. Thank you, Jedamanis. And also so that the parts are available, but that just hasn't happened. Zach, GT500, thank you. Will I have a chance to meet you in June at Bristol? Here's a good question about me at the NHRA races. Yes, I will be at Bristol. I do rove the pits, but I had to post this, Steve, thanks. I had to post this on Facebook recently, which is, it's a little different scene when I'm working for NHRA. I'm actually there working, and sometimes it will be for live TV. And so I feel awful about it, but I have had to just blow by fans as they're trying to wave me down and I'm in a golf cart because I'm on my way to do work. Joey and Luann, thank you. Same with Adam. He says, can you please turn your phone on its side? Brian Leach, $50. Brian, thank you. I can probably turn the phone on the side. I don't know if I can do that after I've already started this. I understand from a lot of people that the vertical is actually better for Q&As. I don't know. Comment to me and let me know. But let me finish. At NHRA, I'm there to work, and sometimes it's for live TV or deadline TV, and I can't stop and talk to you as much as I would like to. And so if you see me at a race and you call out my name as I'm on the golf cart, please forgive me if I just give a wave. I typically try and give followers as much attention as I can, but it's harder when I'm working those events. I will also ask that if you see me interviewing someone, please don't stand at the ropes and shout my name out repeatedly. I've actually had that happen a couple times, and it's hard. Little Richie, thanks. Asking about YJ Wranglers, I'll get to that. So that's my deal on NHRA. His question about YJs, do I think they're cool? You know what? We call them Wranglers for a reason. 722 Racing, thanks. But Wrangler YJs are actually pretty good. Thank you for the $20. Man, people are being super generous. This is amazing. And by the way, I'm not asking for tips. I appreciate them, but don't feel that that's required or a request from me. And also, I'm sorry that some of them go by so fast I miss them. Turbo something or other just flashed by. YJs are actually pretty good. They're the last leaf spring traditional Jeeps. D. McCullen, thank you. Do I still have the Hemi Grammy? Yes. Any updates on the Chrysler Town & Country wagon? Now, I said that I'm going to drop a video that has information about all of the Roadkill cars. Well, that one is a Roadkill garage car, which will be Alan, no, I'm not going to be in New England for NHRA. I need to do a second video about all the Roadkill garage cars that I probably will. And so the Town & Country wagon got bought by you know Wiley Stevens? He was a camera guy for us, drone operator for us, and he also is doing the Steve Dulcich YouTube channel right now. He's on camera for that. He actually filled in for me a couple of times on Roadkill Garage, so he's doing that with Steve Dulcich on Dulcich's channel, which is called Steve Dulcich Shifted. You should go check it out. And so his dad bought the Town & Country wagon. Am I coming to Australia soon? No. Lucky's here. Lucky Costa. That's another guy you want to make sure to follow his channel and watch his stuff. Wow. I'm sorry, these are going so fast. I obviously haven't figured out how to do this. What happened to the 440 Samurai? There's a YouTuber who owns that. He's brought it to duct tape drags a couple of times, so that thing lives. It has a different engine in it now, but it's still around. Have I ever met Jay Leno? I used to genuinely know Jay Leno, but I haven't talked to him for like 13 or 14 years, so I'm gonna go no. How did I meet Birdsong? I saw a question. Thank you very much for that. I may have bought a car from him. I know that I bought a charger from him, which I actually ended up returning. I think that might have been the first time that I met him, is buying a charger from him. So it was like a Instagram or internet connection, and obviously hit it off because we like pretty much the same cars, and because, man, that guy is skilled, really, really genuinely skilled, does a lot of great work. Someone just asked me if I'm doing Drag Week. I am signed up to announce Hot Rod Drag Week this year. I'm not involved in it anymore at all. I don't work for Hot Rod Magazine. I don't work for Motor Trend. I don't work for Drag Week. But I am coming up to announce that event. Will I bring back the Thermoquad t-shirts? I'm not sure. I might have to. A lot of people ask. Questions going fast. Roadkill Nights, I'm unsure if I'm doing that yet or not. I should say, though, that Motor Trend, and this is so confusing. Here's the deal. There's a Motor Trend, the cable TV network, and that's the one where they recently shut down all the in-house productions and killed all of our shows, although the cable network still exists and they're running reruns. And I think they still have some new episodes to air. They've already streamed, but I think they're still airing new episodes. I have no contact with them. I really know nothing else about what they do. Then there's Motor Trend Magazine and Hot Rod Magazine, the publishing and web and event side of the business, which was recently purchased by Hearst. So these are two completely different businesses, both called Motor Trend, which is really confusing. So I have no contact with the TV side. I have a lot of friends on the publishing side, and the publishing side also does events. And so that's why I'm still doing Drag Week. And the publishing side also is going to execute Roadkill Nights again this year, but it's as yet unknown if Finnegan and I will be there. Early CJ5 or flat fender? Flat fender. Are you going to have a duct tape drags this year? I am in negotiations for that. The intent is to do duct tape drags. Thank you. Did you see 12 Volt Dave's last episode on the Speed Shop closing? No, but I did see him post about it, and I hope to get there myself. Do I have a wife or kids? Yes, but I do keep my family completely off the internet. Am I going to be in Brainerd? I think that is, let's see, my NHRA races are Vegas 1 and 2, Pomona 1 and 2, so that's 4. And then I have 4 others, which are going to be Indy, Bristol, Chicago, and Brainerd. So yeah, George Crabtree, thank you. Am I going to throw a V8 in a Cybertruck? You know what? That's something Finnegan and I would have done in Roadkill when we had Roadkill budget, but I don't think I'm doing that at this point. You know what? We talked forever when Teslas first became a thing about doing a blown big block Chevy Tesla. We even had a vehicle lined up, but for some reason it fell through and we never did that. Is shooting YouTube much different than shooting Roadkill? Matthew, thank you. I still have the Crusher Impala. Shooting YouTube is different because I do it with my cell phone and a couple of GoPros and a lav mic, and that's it. I typically have done those things by myself, although I did a collab with Dulcich and I did one with Dave Chappelle. I do plan on doing them with other hosts, including Mike Finnegan, but I shoot them myself. So it is radically different in that way. And I also get to do kind of whatever I feel like doing, whereas, you know, we really had more of a collaboration with me and Finnegan, and there was stuff that he wanted to do that I didn't want to do and stuff I wanted to do that he didn't want to do. Well, now I get to do whatever I want. Season 14 air date? There is no season 14 of Roadkill. It's over. Do I have the General Mayhem? Yes. I just posted a video with the complete history of the General Mayhem, and I'm selling these shirts, which, by the way, have version 2.0 of a cardboard list on the back of the new things that I want to do to that car. Do I have a camera person? No. Well, I take that back. On some things I have, so yes. This guy says he misses Homeless Dave, thanks. Paradise Arm says, Rotson when? You'll find out. Lots of people saying, do I know the status of the Rotson? I do. El Camino or Ranchero? It depends on the year. Yeah, depends on the year. I would have both. The Ranchero came first, I'll tell you that. Have I met any of the cast of Dukes of Hazzard? Yes, I did a few things with John Snyder at one time. Rick Doing Life, thanks for the tip. I couldn't tell your question. Was Guild Garage part of the Roadkill family? I don't think so. I haven't heard of that at all. What happened to Project X? Project X is that 57 Chevy that had been around Popular Hot Rodding magazine since, I can't remember if it's 1962 or 1964, but that project was around forever, and it belongs to Hot Rod magazine, and it is currently at Lucky's shop. Am I going to Power Tour? Likely not. Someone is asked opinion on Australian Holdens. Those are the General Motors Australian cars. I guess I don't have a strong opinion on them because I don't know enough about them. I mean, I like the ones that they shipped here most recently as GTOs, but I don't have enough experience with Holdens to have an opinion. I think some of them look cool. The older 70s ones look cool. Where's the Crusher? I have both the Crusher Impala and the Crusher Camaro. Where's my Super Bee? I have that too. Whatever happened to the boat from the engine swap where we drove the muscle truck to the lake and took the engine out of it and put it in the boat, then took it out of the boat and put it in the muscle truck. That boat actually belonged to Finnegan's cousin, and I think Finnegan may have it now. I need to ask him about that. This guy says, whatever happened to Gary the Wrecker? I think you probably mean Harry Tow, the tow truck. Motor Trend sold that a long time ago for dirt cheap. Once again, 2 weeks or a week from Thursday, there's a video. I think that's when it's going to be. It might be a week later than that. That explains what happened to all the Roadkill cars. When we bring back Tunnel Cram Nova? I don't know. I broke it, so it's going to be expensive to fix. We'll see. Oh, Newberry Tuning and Performance. You sent me a question this long. I can't read that as fast as all these questions are going by. I need short ones. Steve's asking, what's the best used cop car? Well, it would be the 69 Polara, but you can't get one of those. I always preferred the 9C1 Caprice to the Crown Vic, but the 9C1s are becoming really hard to get. And I liked them just because they had more power. Honestly, the Crown Vic's, I think, a better car overall. At least the later model ones are, the rack and pinion version of them. But those are all going away really fast, thanks to Cletus McFarland. By the way, I just hosted the Freedom 500 along with Jake Wilson here a couple weeks ago. Did you see the Freedom 500 with me on there? Someone asked about my 1960 F-250 and if I'm going to rescue it or not. I'm surprised you even know I have that. I'm not sure I posted about it more than once, but yeah, I can't wait to get on top of that truck. It is so cool. Do I like JDM? I don't have a lot of appreciation for a lot of Japanese cars. Not to say I don't like them, but I haven't been exposed. It hasn't been in my realm of interest. Find any good Suburban 2500s to film. I seem to only do 1500s. I'm not on the hunt for another Suburban. I already have that 90 1500 4x4, but you never know what happens when they come up. Maserati 2.0 status. That one was actually purchased by our guy Mason, who was a field producer for us near the end of Roadkill. Do I have the general maintenance? No, Mason does actually. Will I be attending Street Machine Nationals in DuQuoin? No. Plans for the 70 Challenger. I think you're asking about the one that I recently posted that had all of the crazy 70s graphics on it. That's actually not mine. Mike Coffey bought that. You might remember Mike Coffey if you saw the episode of Roadkill Garage with the red duster. I bought that duster from him, and Dulcich and I got it going and put a V8 and a 4-speed and an 8 3/4 in it. And by the way, I'm going to have to sell that car. I'll probably make a video on it, and after that it needs to go. Am I doing Bonneville this year? Unlikely. Shockingly, I haven't been to Bonneville in like 8 or 10 years because of Roadkill Nights. But no, I'm not going to make it this year either. I've been to El Mirage a lot more than I've been to Bonneville in the last decade. Have I ever into a 67 Cuda Fastback? No. Am I doing the Gumball Rally? No. Did I ever go to the Carlisle swap meet? Yes. I should coyote swap something. Not opposed to that. In my new role as a YouTuber, completely working on my own budget, I'm unlikely to do something like that. I am working mostly with parts I already have. I have acquired a bunch of new cars, but I'm also selling stuff. And you're going to see more stuff have to get sold. But that also means more stuff is coming in. Why don't I like C2 Corvettes? I do. I like most Corvettes. I just don't want to own them or work on them. They're too small for me, and I don't know. I don't see myself in one, but I actually think they look really cool. Am I going to do more 4x4 stuff? Yeah, perhaps you saw a couple episodes recently on my channel where I did the full-size Cherokee. I've got more of that coming, and I did just buy a flat fender Jeep with a small block Ford in it. Do I have any wagons coming in? I do have a 72 Chevelle wagon that you'll end up seeing coming up. Will I do collabs with Steve Dulcich? Yeah, I would like to. I did a couple Q&As with him. He's actually busy doing his own YouTube channel with Wiley. And I would like to collab with those guys too, but it just hasn't come together here in the past couple months. Someone asked, what's your favorite racetrack moment? Probably getting in the Bonneville 200 mile an hour club, 2005. Or the El Mirage 200 mile an hour club a couple years ago. Someone asked, do I know what happened to the Eddie Van Halen trucks? So Sport Truck Magazine in the 90s built 2 trucks for Eddie Van Halen, one of which was a really, really subtle one that he had for a long time after it was given to him, although it was sitting on 4 flat tires covered in leaves up at his place. But there was another one that was a giveaway truck, and I don't know precisely where that one is, but I think it did come up a little while ago. Someone has it around. Gas Rats is telling me host a Cars and Coffee at the Peterson. I don't know. I guess I could put that together. Wow, there's a lot of them going by really fast. I'm trying to catch questions as I can. Opinion on Volkswagen Beetles. I've owned exactly one. I would have another air-cooled, but I would prefer to have a Carmen Ghia. Duct tape drags, yes, I am planning on doing that. Nothing locked down just yet. There's a lot of contracts and insurance and scheduling and junk to do an event, and so that's why that announcement's taking a long time. Someone keeps asking, have I heard of Crew Manchi? Nope, have not. Did I ever meet Ed Roth? Yes. Big Daddy Ed Roth, the inventor, the father of Rat Fink. Little Richie, thanks for the buck. Dead with Rick Payway. Yep, I'm going to have more stuff coming with Payway. You know, we never resolved what was wrong with my Jeepster Commando when we road tripped that thing with the V6 and it was running so bad. It probably has a broken valve spring or something. Someone just said, please do more live. Thanks. You know, I will when I can get to it, like right now when I'm just sitting in a hotel room with nothing to do. Did I ever get my dad's Jeep fixed? Thanks for asking. No, I think the clutch is just frozen on that. And I got to get a yank strap on it and see if I can get that fixed for him. Someone is saying, you need to make a t-shirt of your face and the this is my level of concern look. I don't think I'm going to make a t-shirt with my face on it like that. Little cartoon stuff. I've got the Homeless Dave thing with the cartoon me that STC Doodles did. Someone said they just got their General Mayhem 2.0 shirt. That's this. Thanks very much. What non-vehicle based content do I consume? I don't consume vehicle-based content much at all. I don't watch car TV. I never have. I've never seen a full episode of Top Gear ever. If I'm going to watch TV, it's usually old shows like Adam 12 or Chips or Columbo or old people stuff like that. Updates on my Scrambler. It's still in my driveway. Still have it. What do I think of Richard Holdner? I think because Engine Masters is done, you definitely need to subscribe to the Richard Holdner channel. You will see nonstop dyno testing on his channel. It's really good stuff. What's happening with the muscle truck? I still own that. And nothing's really happening with it. What happened to the Disgustang? That's a common question. I did sell the Disgustang. It's in New York. I think the name of the guy's Mud Garage, if you want to look at it on Instagram. Someone just said, thanks for the great content. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Crop duster. I still have the crop duster. You know what? You'll have to give me an opinion. For those of you who saw on my Instagram, or I think I put it on Facebook too, a buddy of mine just bought a 71 Challenger and it's got full-on leftover 1977 graphics on the thing and it looks killer. I have thought about panel painting the crop duster like a 70s street machine. Let me know if you think that would be cool. Someone asked about Gene Winfield's passing. You know, the guy was obviously a legend. I only knew him the smallest little bit from when he raced at El Mirage Dry Lake. I didn't know him from custom stuff at all. I never dealt with him in my magazine days, but I did hang out with him maybe just twice at El Mirage when he was racing. Obviously not in the 50s or the 40s, but more recently. Have I ever owned a Dodge Demon? Nope, haven't had a Demon. Am I going to make more Tug shirts? Thanks for asking. That's my dog who died. And you know the dog shirts that I made that were so popular? I had one made that was Tug, and it had my Alaskan Husky on the front sleeping and on the back sitting up. And I probably won't make those anymore. So nope, those are gone. Any plans for Crusher Impala? You know, all of my vehicles that are sitting around, and I have 48 of them right now, I have plans for every single one of them. But nothing so solid that I can share it with you. It'll happen when it happens, and whatever my plan is at the time is what will happen. There's just too many to sort of elaborate or to state what I'm going to do, and then that doesn't actually happen. You know how I am. I change my mind all the time on this stuff. Someone just asked, should there be Blasphemy versus F-Rod Part 2? Probably there should be that. I think there should be General Mayhem versus Death Metal before that, though. Someone asked about Stubby Bob content. Yes, I did buy Stubby Bob from the company. You can go back in my videos and you can see a whole story about what Stubby Bob looks like right now. It's going to be time consuming and expensive to get that thing going again because only the Gearstar 4L80E transmission is good, or 4L85. The rest of the thing is junk. The engine is seized, the rear end is blown up, the rear suspension's a disaster, front suspension's a disaster, cooling's a disaster. It needs everything. Dodge V10 videos soon. Yes, someone asked about my Dodge Ram V10. I do have a video coming up with that. It's a road trip. Thank you for someone for saying that they really dug the General Mayhem history video. Someone asked about the Clevo Commando. That's been gone and abandoned for a long time. I still have the engine trans and transfer case. The rest of the car is gone. People have asked me about how I plan my road trips and how I do all of these like historical sites and cool things that I find in junkyards. Here's the answer. I wing it. I plan virtually nothing on my road trips. I usually make a plan about where I'm staying about 2 o'clock the day that I'm on the road, and I figure out where I'm staying that night. And I take whatever road I feel like taking, and I see what I see and find what I find. So there aren't many actual plans. Is Roadkill Nights happening? Yeah. Motor Trend tells me that they plan on doing Roadkill Nights. I'm not, part of the management of that at all anymore, but that's what they tell me. Where is my F-Rod? I still have the F-Rod, which is my 8-second Model A. Lucky just asked something, I think, that went by really fast. Someone says, thoughts on first-gen Dodges. What do you mean? Are you talking about swept-line trucks? Or are you talking about tin grill trucks? I never know. Someone just said, Tony Angelo, ? What about Tony? Tony and I have chatted in the past, I don't know, we text every once in a while, and we've talked about doing something together too, probably involving me going to Philly. Whatever happened to the Ranchero? This is a good one. It is in the car museum that is in Deer Lodge, Montana. So you can go see it. The Ranchero is there at Car Museum, Deer Lodge, Montana. Damien, do I have plans for the Crusher Camaro? Right now, I don't. It's a good running, driving car, even though it's a little bit boring in its current trim. I probably need to do something else with it, but I'm not sure what that'll be. And there's probably other cars that are ahead of it on the list at this time. How many superchargers do I own? That's something I might be able to count. Let's see. One on the Crusher Impala, a spare for the Crusher Impala, a broken one from the Crusher Impala, a Pro Charger on the Dragoneer, a spare Pro Charger, a Pro Charger for the Land Speed car, a Vortec and a Paxton. 8. Oh, and the one that's on my workbench that you see me when I'm talking doing history pieces, I'm sitting there leaning on the blower, that makes 9. Remember, on stuff like that, I've been doing the whole magazine and thing for magazine, TV, journalism thing for 35 years, more. And so I have never really gotten rid of anything, and that's how that stuff is accumulated. What's happening with the tunnel cram motor? The tunnel cram is still in the Nova, but I broke the transmission and the rear suspension on it, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that just yet. Someone said, this is fake. I hate fake stuff. Yeah, this is totally fake. I shouldn't have even addressed that. I made myself a rule when I went on YouTube that I would never address a hater. That's kind of a hater statement. And a hater comeback that I shouldn't do. TSL boggers or super swampers? Swampers look cool. Swampers are great for mud, but for rock crawling and stuff, I prefer the original super swamper better, not the bogger. Stuff's going fast. I'm sorry, those of you who are like throwing out tips and I'm not answering your questions because they're going by so quickly I can't see them. You know what? Vice Grip Derek gave me a tip one time that I think only works on a laptop, which is if I'm going to do a live Q&A, I need to go in and slow the number of questions. Do I have more NHRA hosting? Yes, 5 more this year. Do I still have the Crusher? Yes, both the Impala and the Camaro. Why do I hate the Slant 6? They're just overrated. They don't make power and they're not as reliable as people say they are. Yeah, this guy says I can put it on slow mode. Do you know if I can do that on the phone? I'm not sure if I can or can't. Also throw out, would you rather have Q&As vertical or horizontal? Favorite car that I have right now. Excuse me. At the second, I really love the General Mayhem, but usually I answer that it's the Crusher Camaro just because I've had it for so long, been involved with it for so long. I can change it up all the time. Everything I do to it ends up being cool. It just responds really well. So maybe that. This guy says, see Richard Holdner for live tips. Actually a good tip. This guy said, Fast and Furious Charger or General Lee? I have to go General Lee because the Fast and Furious Charger had a small block Chevy in it and the blower was completely fake. This guy says horizontal for TV. Other people are saying definitely vertical because everybody's watching on a mobile device. Would I ever get a 57 or 8 Plymouth? Yeah, I need more 50s cars, ultimately. Wow, 3,200 people watching right now. Thank you very much. Very generous of you. Will I be at Roadkill Nights? Unsure yet. Best cargo short brand. You know, I used to go with the Carhartt, and then they changed them up on me. So now I'm on the Rigs, Wrangler Rigs. Do you like Y blocks? I don't love Y blocks. I think it's cool when they're in cars and they already run and drive. Would I take the time to build one? Probably not. Someone says vertical is easier to see the comments. That's fair. You know what? I should probably do this from a laptop. Right now I'm just on my phone. If I was on the laptop, it's probably easier. Where's Project X? Hot Rod Magazine owns it. Do I like LS engines? Yes, LSs make great power. What happened to the airport car? Not Roadkill. Motor Trend sent it to the scrapyard. Thoughts on LS swaps? Hey, I know it's the thing that everybody loves to hate, but if you go back in the history of hot rodding, all the way back into the 30s, what guys do is they go to the junkyard and they get the late model engine that makes the most power and they use it. And so it is the tradition of hot rodding. It is what it is. When I was coming up in my magazine career, everybody criticized small block Chevys. So yeah, the LS is good. Do I still have the crop duster? Yes. Am I announcing Drag Week this year? Yes. Will I do Leno's TV show? Likely not. I mean, I haven't talked to him in a long, long time. Do I plan on doing any diesel stuff? No, I don't speak diesel. I don't hate diesels. I just, not my thing. Do I still have the F-bomb? Yes. Best flip-flops. I was wearing the Quicksilver Classics. Now I use like therapeutic old man padded ones though. I think these are actually Skechers. Thoughts on the Chevy 327? I like a 327. I have a 550 horse 327 that will run clean to 8,000 RPM. It's really cool. Land speed stuff soon. You know, now that I'm completely on my own and having to make my own money and everything, it doesn't make a lot of sense to build another race car from scratch. So I fear that that might not be in my future. Do I have an agent? No, I do not have an agent. I don't have an agent. I don't have employees. I don't have assistants. I don't have somebody who does social media for me. It's all on this guy. Do I have the 74L Cochino? Yes, I do. The 454 4-speed car. I actually split it with another guy, with Mikey P, who is the showrunner on Hot Rod Garage. We both own that together. 340 Mopar thoughts. You just remind me that I have a 340 that's over at Bostic Racing Engines in Yuma that I really need to get back on. It stalled when I couldn't decide if I wanted to build a street 340, just drive around deal, or if I wanted to go all out and try and make one that runs 7,500 RPM. That's my problem, is I always go to the extreme. So, yeah. Wow. They're just going by so fast. I'm sorry. Hemi Belvedere. I still have the Hemi Belvedere. I haven't seen it since it came back from Performance Auto in Wyoming. It's in my garage. What happened to my puppy? Unfortunately, Tuggy, my dog Tug, the Alaskan Husky, he died super unexpectedly one night. Just did not see it coming. So he's gone. He was 14. Do I ever plan to move out of California? Yeah. You know what? The only thing keeping me is momentum and stuff. You know what? Stuff owns you. 48 cars owns you. A whole bunch of engines own you. That's the problem. Will I be in the East Coast soon? Not planned right now. I appreciate the guy who keeps on posting "You're a legend." Thank you very much. I see you just posting that over and over and over, and I didn't want it to go unaddressed, so thank you. Where would I move to? Probably Arizona. Yeah, someone just said, I bet you moved to Arizona. That's about right. Come to Colorado. They have white stuff there. Snow. I don't do it. Lincoln Highway road trip. I have done that on my own. I haven't done it for YouTube. I probably will. Will I ever move to Michigan? Again, snow. I'm really bad at it. What happened to the Clevo Commando? The Jeepster's sold. I still have the engine, trans, and transfer case. Favorite electric car? Scarecrow. Ford 300 thoughts. I like the Ford 300 inline six. I have one car that has one. Here's another guy trying to pay me to go horizontal. I guess next time I do a Q&A, I'll go horizontal and just see how it works. I'm kind of new at this. I think this is maybe the third live I've done on YouTube. Suburban shirt. Do you want a shirt for my 1990 Suburban? I see that as just like a drive around vehicle, not really an enthusiast vehicle. Do I still own my new Challenger? I do. Is Steve Mignante okay? I wouldn't say he's okay. He is recovering very well. Someone wants more me and Chappelle collaborations. Do you want to see me and Chappelle? Let me know. You know what? Here's the thing. So Dave Chappelle and I just did the road trip in that really awful 51 Plymouth Custom. And we both did a version of it. And on his channel, it went huge. I didn't release mine till like 3 or 4 weeks later. And it was not huge. It didn't tank, but it was lower than my average. And I wonder, is that just because everybody saw it on Dave's channel already and they knew the whole story and they didn't want to see my version of it? Or what? It's, you know, I'm new to all of this stuff. I know on the collab thing, I think usually people release their episode on exactly the same day, don't they? So I don't exactly know what to do with all that stuff. I'm still figuring out YouTube. Do I still have the BJ5? No, that's gone. I do have the engine and the transmission and the transfer case out of it, but the actual Jeep, the BJ5, a guy who owned that exact Jeep in high school hit me up and wanted it back, so I sold it to him, but I took the drivetrain. Say hi to somebody called Rednecks. Hi. Oh, Finnegan's here. All right. Finnegan's checking into the live feed. Let's see. Questions going fast. Somebody says Gray Baskerville. Yep, Gray Baskerville was a mentor and hero of mine. Dragoneer. I still have the Dragoneer. I haven't touched it since the show's closed, but I will. Favorite 71 to 74 Charger. Gonna surprise you. I would have a 73 Rally. Field car plans. That's my 56 Chevy with the small block and the 6-speed. I don't have plans for it right now, but I do still own it. Leaf spring sliders. You know what? I really like them. What those are is sliders that replace the hanging and swinging shackle on the back of a leaf spring mount. And in an application where you want handling or thrashing, I really like them because they take a bunch of sway and slop out of the rear end. They probably make a little bit of noise, but all my cars are so loud I wouldn't know the difference. Duster update. I still have the crop duster. 70 to 74 Barracuda. I would have a 71. Although I'm not an e-body guy. I don't go out of my way to get an e-body. What's my opinion on a 4.3 Vortec hot rod build? You know what? They can be really good for some things. You could have them in the Rotson is a really good idea to have a Chevy V6. You could have them in S10. You can put them in like little MGs. You can put them in street rods. I prefer the, I think, 1991 and earlier ones that don't have a balance shaft. And I wish you could get a better intake manifold for them. I'd probably make your own intake. But aside from that, they can be very cool. I did a build a long time ago and made 300 horsepower with it and then put a Vortec on it and made 500 horsepower and split a cylinder wall. So I might keep it NA or go lower boost. Someone says, howdy from the deep south. Thank you. Oh, someone's asking about first gen Dodges, and they're saying the first gen is the tin grill, not the swept line. I like tin grills. I wish there was more aftermarket support for them. You can't get a ton of stuff, even though I understand QA1 just started doing suspension for them. And there was a time when those trucks were just dirt cheap and everywhere. And now they're cheaper than Fords and Chevys and not quite as everywhere. I would most like a Ram Charger out of a tin grill. I had a 75 at one time. Lots of people asking about an F-bomb update. I don't have an F-bomb update. Every time I do, it never comes true. So I do not have an F-bomb. What happened to the Town and Country wagon from the show belongs to the father of our guy Wiley Stevens, who used to work on our crew and who is now doing YouTube with Steve Dulcich. Make sure to check into Steve Dulcich Shifted and follow that. You know, all of the old hosts have YouTube channels. There's Riding with Alex Taylor. There's Lucky's Garage. There's, of course, Finnegan's Garage. There's my channel, which is the David Freiburger. You probably know that. Newbern has a channel. Cotton has a channel. Who else? Tony, of course. Stay tuned, Tony Angelo. So all of our hosts, Vice Grip Derek, duh. Do another hilarious lowrider video. That's probably a really good idea if I could find another cheap lowrider. Although, you know what? I take that back. I don't think we can ever top that first episode that Finnegan and I did with the lowrider. We had so much fun. We're crying, we're laughing so hard. Probably can't be topped. Someone asked about Alana. That's very cool. Alana was our social media person and editor of Roadkill magazine back in the day, and she's currently working for Car and Driver and Road and Track. I see her once every 4 or 5 months and chat with her whenever appropriate, so she's still around. Let's see. How many cars do I own? It's 48 or 49. I don't remember right now. Lime in a Corona? Absolutely not. It's not a fruit salad. It's beer. Oh yeah, Dirthead Dave Chappelle and Fred. Those guys obviously have channels. Thanks for the reminder. Who has Bubblicious? You know, that's a great question. I don't know. That was that pink Caprice that was a donk, or a bubble, I guess. And it was used on the Drift This show, and then Mike and I used it on a couple of episodes. I have no idea what happened to it. Funnily enough, they were going to give that away at one time. Motor Trend was, and I don't know if that actually happened or not. What happened to the Cummins swap Cadillac? The Bro Hammer. Traded that for the 67 Biscayne that we drove up to the top of Pikes Peak. The guy pulled the diesel out of it and sold the diesel and then sold the car separately. If you've missed earlier when I was describing this, I have a video coming out, not this Thursday, but I think next Thursday, maybe the week after that, that explains every single Roadkill car and what the fate of them is. I've been holding on that one for a while, so look for that. Where's the generic Jeep? I still have my, what year is it, 2002 Jeep TJ? I still have that. Haven't used it in a while. Why do I never put white letters out? I don't know. I'm a black wall out guy. There are very rare circumstances where I'll put the white letters out. One of them was my 56 F100. But yeah, typically don't prefer white letter out. Someone asked about Steve Brule. How very cool. Steve Brule, of course, the dyno operator on the Engine Masters show. He is retired and just having a great life. Retirement looks so good on this guy. I love him to death. I'm going to see him soon. Someone keeps asking me, what's my best day at work ever? I don't have that at the top of my head. We did so much cool stuff. You know, we have been very lucky to live multiple lives on the Roadkill show and do lots and lots of really great things. It's hard to narrow it down. Is there a specific way to clean a vehicle after it's been on assault flats? Yes. Take it 100% apart and clean absolutely everything and powder coat it and put it back together. Someone said they'd like to see a video on all my engines in cars. I have considered, as a matter of fact, Finnegan and I even discussed doing a video trying to go make every single one of my cars run in the shortest amount of time possible. I don't know. I can't do that. And so many of them are never going to run. It would be pretty crazy. Maybe I could do a video going and visiting every single one of them, but it would be a lot of driving because they're scattered absolutely everywhere. Opinion on the yellow Olds Rally 350? Don't know. Are you talking about some specific vehicle you think I had? Because I haven't had an Olds Rally 350. Favorite year of the GTO? 65. What happened to the Buick Special? The Buick Special is the convertible that was on the pre-Roadkill episode where Finnegan and I and Rick Payway rescued it out of Payway's backyard. And I had the thing for, I think, 12 years. I sold it to Holly. They gave it away. And then that winner sold it and then sold it to someone else, sold it to someone else. If you go back and look at my coverage of the 2024 duct tape drags, you will see the guy who has it now. He just bought it. He's in Arizona and he loves the thing. It's the car that got him into cars. And so as much as I probably should have that sitting around because of the history behind it, I'm glad that guy has it. Do I still have the Ford F-250 4x4? My 1960? Yes, I do. Do I still own Crusher Impala? Yes. White Nova? Yes. Someone keeps asking favorite 3 beer brands. It's like cold and wet, and I hate IPAs. How's the 71 Roadrunner? I have a 72 that you saw in 2 episodes on my channel, the brown car, and it's still sitting there. Lucky. I couldn't see your question, Luck. Let's see. How do I insure so many cars? I don't. I only insure the stuff that I am actively using, so that's about 5. Paul Taylor, thanks for the tip. Someone asked, am I involved in the Motor Trend company now or completely free? I have no business connection or employment connection whatsoever to that company, but I am hired to do Drag Week, and of course I have a bunch of friends there, but from a business or employment point of view, no, I am not connected to Motor Trend TV. I am not connected to the publishing company, Motor Trend or Hot Rod. Am I still interested in a ZR2? I was just kind of looking at them today on the street, honestly. I would kind of like a brand new one, but I've heard so many bad things about them, and I fear the turbo lasting forever and the transmission lasting forever. Kind of considering getting a previous generation ZR2. I just need a desert beater that's reliable, that is not that trick. I would leave it stock. I would put some like aggressive tires on it and call it a day. So we'll see. I might do that. Who owns Harry Tow? I think it's Classic Crew Cabs on Instagram has that. If it's not Classic Crew Cabs, it's some account like that. They bought Harry Tow and still have it. What headers did I use on Disgusting? JBA headers. Which car smelled the worst? That's got to be a 10-way toss-up. I'm not sure. Have I ever built a nail head? I have not. I've worked on them, but I've never built one from scratch. Ford Ranger Raptor. That's a good call. I would have a Ford Ranger Raptor, but I'm not going to buy one brand new. Someone keeps asking about Tom Nelson news. He's good. He's cranking away. Do I like Corvairs? I do. I like a second generation Corvair, but I've never had one. Cleveland motor. I still have the Cleveland out of the Clevo Commando, 650 horsepower, 8,000 RPM. I probably need to put a smaller cam in it and tame that down because the bottom end is not gonna live. Boy, a lot of people asking about the Crusher Impala. Amazing. I still have it. It's still a blown big block. It's still a fantastic, fun car. Finnegan still doesn't like the body style, which I can't blame him for because I never liked them before I had that car. And that car is so fun that I almost don't care what it looks like. I think it's really cool. I still have it. Oh, the Mighty Car Mod Subaru Ute. It's amazing how many people ask me about that thing. And I asked Marty about it and Blair. And they said they don't know where it went either. They left it at the shop where they built it, and they are not exactly sure where it is. What happened to the Engine Masters competition? That was a popular hot rodding magazine thing and later an Engine Masters magazine thing. And that actually died, I think, before the Engine Masters TV show started, or maybe a year after the TV show started. So it's gone. Do I still own the Crusher Camaro? Yes. Video on Impala coming. You know, based on how many people are asking me about it, I think I have to have a video coming on the Crusher Impala. Someone keeps saying the early models Jeep Wrangler, but I don't know what your question is. You mean a YJ? A rectangular headlight model? A Wrangler? You know, I didn't like them when they were new, but I think they're perfectly good Jeeps. Unsafest car I ever drove. I think Finnegan and I agree that that flat rod Jeep that we drove was an absolute death trap. Why don't I like first gen Chargers? I don't hate the 66 and 7 Charger. They just don't have the same flair to me when you can get a 68. There's nothing wrong with them. I think, which one has the bucket rear seat? Was it 67 that had the full length console? I think so. What about Stubby Bob? I own Stubby Bob. It's going to be a while before I can get to it. It needs absolutely everything. Someone keeps asking me about car history places to visit in Northern California. I don't have anything at the top of my head. Third gen Camaros. Have you seen the third gen that Finnegan is giving away? Thing is mint. You need to look at that. My phone's now down to 5% power, and I've been yapping at you for 57 minutes. So what I'm gonna try and do is make it all the way to 1 hour. If it dies on me, you'll know why, because I'm down to 5% power, and I have 2.5 minutes left. Thank you very much, by the way, everyone, for all your donations. There's been a ton on this video. It's never requested, but always appreciated. Thank you very much for all of the tips that you shot out, and I apologize to you if you've thrown out a tip and I haven't been able to see your question or address your question, but thank you very much. Favorite year Pontiac Firebird? 70. Yeah. Have you ever met Jay Leno? Yes, I used to know Jay Leno pretty well when I was the editor of Hot Rod, but haven't talked to him in more than a decade. Favorite cigar? I'm not hardcore enough on cigars to really have one. TJ off-road content? I do have my TJ. I'll probably do a video coming up on that. Come to Alaska? You know, now that I'm on my own budget, I'm not sure I'm doing that again, but it sure would be fun. What happened to Pigpen? Once again, I will give you in my final 2 minutes here a tip that I have a video coming up that explains the fate of all of the Roadkill cars, so look for that. Thoughts on 77 Camaros? That would be the type of thing I would have hated 10 years ago, but now they're just cool old cars, so they're good. Hopefully they pass that law in California where we can actually not have to deal with smog control and stuff like that. That will make those cars even more interesting. What happened to the Boondoggie, owned by Steve Dulcich? What else? 440 Dart. My 440 Dart is now owned by Vice Grip Derek. Thoughts on new Chargers? Let's see what happens when they put Hellcats in them. Someone said do a live every day. I don't think anybody would care if I did a live every day, but I'll do them when I've got minutes to spare like I do right now in my hotel room. And by the way, you know what I should tell you? Wait for big news tomorrow. It is going to be super, super cool. I'll leave you with that. But I am doing something pretty great that you'll find out about, I think, tomorrow. Can you help get Pomona Drag Strip open to the public? I would not have anything to do with making that happen, but stay tuned for news. Someone says they love the history videos. Thanks, I love doing those. They're good fillers for when I don't have time to hit the road and do things. Okay, I'm down to 3% power. I'm pretty sure this thing is gonna die, and I wanna be able to save this video for everybody. So thank you very much for listening for a full hour. At one time I had 3,600 people watching. Right now it's 3,569. Thank you again for everybody who donated. That was super, super cool of you. And, oh wow, more people donating, so maybe I shouldn't shut off. Do a zip tie moment right now. Look at the new opening on Finnegan's Garage and you'll see a new graphic that I believe was done by a friend of ours, and it has a little zip tie on it. So look for that. People saying goodnight. All right. Oh, people saying plug your charger in. You know what? It's buried in my luggage somewhere, so I don't think that's going to happen. You know what I might do is charge my phone up and go jump and do another one of these on Instagram because I have the time. So if you're also on my Instagram, maybe look for that in, I don't know, half an hour or something like that. And once again, thank you very much for everybody who has checked in. Now I have to figure out how to actually get out of this. Bye, Lucky. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening in the background. Appreciate you. See, now the next thing I also have to figure out is how to shut this thing off, because I don't know. I literally don't know how to shut off the Q&A. Do I touch that? No. Do that. All right, I figured out how to shut off my Q&A. Thank you very much again, everybody. I will see you on Instagram in, I don't know, half an hour or something like that. Thanks a lot. Bye.